Hi guys, welcome to a training video for Wealth Warriors. I think you're going to find this interesting because it's predominantly about Cryptex, but it's also going to talk about strategies for cross strategization between different platforms that we have within Wealth Warriors. So tonight I'm not going to go into what Wealth Warriors is. There's other videos for that. I'm assuming you're involved in Wealth Warriors or you know enough about it that you'll know why this video is why I'm making this video. So we're talking about cross-platform strategizing for financial abundance and fast growth with Wealth Warriors. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it does cover all of the different things that we're trying to do with this one short video. I'm going to try and keep it down to 30 minutes, so I'm going to talk fast. There's a lot of detail on the screen. I won't cover all the detail, so if you want the detail, then you just stop the video and make the notes that you want to make. I'll go through a little bit of detail to get you pointed in the right direction, but generally most of the detail on the screen will not be covered. So let's get this show on the road. First we start with a disclaimer and a statement of independence. So nothing in this presentation is to be taken as financial advice. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Do not spend money that you cannot afford to lose. So if by losing that money it's going to cause you financial hardship, bankruptcy, late payments, missing your mortgage payments, divorce because your husband or your wife now hates you for losing more money, don't do it, it's too much money. No guarantee of success is given to any platform, company, strategy or suggestion discussed in this presentation. All strategies are discussion points put forward by the presenter. They came out of my own brain. You can come up with your own strategies and your own discussion points. This is just the way my brain works. The presenter is not an employee or agent of any of the companies mentioned in this presentation and does not speak in an official capacity on their behalf. So we're talking predominantly about Cryptex, and you'll understand why shortly. Cryptex is a community-based project. Cryptex operates in the cryptocurrency sector. Cryptex utilizes a blockchain-based DeFi staking protocol, and if you don't know what a DeFi staking protocol is, I will go through it in a bit more detail in a minute. Cryptex maintains partnerships with banks, insurance companies and individual account holders, that's you and I, the account holders. Cryptex uses smart contracts to generate profits for all three parties, and the smart contracts ensure anonymity for all parties. So when you sign up, you only need to give your email address, and that's really only so that the system needs to have some way of communicating with you. So no country, no inside leg measurement, no date of birth, none of that. It's just your email address. Basically, there are two ways of earning with Cryptex. There's a passive income side, which is earned from staking contracts, and this is done by a fixed payout once the smart contract has matured. Then there's a team building income, which is earned from building a team of others who set up passive income contracts for themselves. Team building is optional, does not affect your passive income earning capabilities at all. There are three types of team building income: direct bonuses, end of contract commissions and leader bonuses. So we do it for the passive income, but if you build a team, you can generate more money from building a team than you can from generating your own staking income. What is DeFi staking? It's the process of keeping your assets in a smart contract in exchange for the accumulation of interest. So crypto assets are locked in for a contractual period of time in order to generate passive income. Locked assets protects the blockchain network's ability to generate crypto profits, and as a reward, the staker / participant, that's you and I, receives returns. DeFi staking is considered a modern savings account, but it's much more lucrative because daily rewards are possible with staking. Cryptex averages a variable 0.05% to 0.3% per day from staking and compounds the interest daily for profitable returns. A DeFi hybrid contract consists of two parts. The first part is the smart contract, and this is code, and the code runs exclusively on the blockchain. And the second part is a decentralized Oracle network that provides secure off-chain services that support the smart contract. So suffice to say, it's the software that is the smart contract, and the hardware is decentralized. There are different nodes all around the world, making sure that the code runs the way it should. This is the contractual agreement between the contract, the insurance company and the bank. We haven't talked about that before, but we will come on to it in a minute. The staked money, the loan plus any accrued profit, is used to generate profits of between 0.05% and 0.3% daily. So let's get into how it works. Contracts provide a collaboration between the bank, the insurance company and the account holder. So the account holder, that's you select the length of time that the contract runs. You have 4 different options for the length of time: 24 months, 36 months, 60 months or 84 months. Okay, so that was a worry. That is a worry for everybody that looks at this. They say, well, my money's going to be tied up and I can't touch it. What if something goes wrong within that period of time? And that's a genuine concern. We all have that concern. Don't switch off though, because it gets better. So the longer the contract, the better the bank interest rate and therefore the greater the return. The account holder pays $100 to activate, brackets set up, a single contract, or you can purchase a pack of 15 contracts for $1,000. That's good news, because that means that on day one, as soon as you've purchased that $1,000 contract, you've got an uplift of 50% immediately. Your $1,000 is actually working as if it was $1,500. So once set up, the contract stakes the money received from the bank loan. You start to get an idea now of how clever this is, because it's not your $100 or $1,000 that's going to be earning money for you. The contract is going to borrow some money from a bank, and that's what's going to be earning you money every day. So let's get into a little bit more about the types of contract. So there are 6 different contracts available, although they all work in exactly the same way. So contracts are defined by the length of time selected and by whether it's a single contract or a pack of contracts. The loan given to 24 and 36 months contracts is £30,200. The loan given to 60 and 84 month contracts is £43,200. Daily profit on shorter contracts is lower than on longer contracts, and the combination of the size of the loan plus profits being staked and the daily profit rate determines the daily return. So if you hold a longer contract, obviously for a longer period of time, you've got more money working for you and you get a better bank interest rate, then it's clearly you're going to earn more money from doing that than a shorter term contract where you borrow less money and you don't get such a good bank interest rate. So you decide what sort of return you want. You're also deciding between 24, 36, 60 and 84 months returns. We'll talk a little bit about the strategy behind that in a minute. So let's just have a little look at the DeFi Hybrid 24, which is the smallest contract we do. It runs for 24 months. The activation fee is $100. You get 1 contract. You borrow $30,200. The bank interest rate is 8.5%. That's pretty steep. The monthly insurance is $210, and the handling fee, the Cryptex handling fee, is $30. Okay, now all of those payments have to come out of your profits. Let's see what happens at the end of the 2 years. Your total profit will be $61,755. So that $30,240 will have just about doubled, just over double in 24 months. The total bank interest then you have to repay during at the end of the first year and then at the end of the second year is $5,140. The total insurance, you pay that every month, is $5,040. The total handling fee is $720, and then you have to repay the bank loan at the end of the 24-month period. So you take all of that out of your profit and you walk away with $20,615. You can see that it's pretty good, because right at the very end you have $61,755 earning for you. So on the last day you'll be earning double what you earned on your first day in this contract. Okay, that auto compounds. Very, very exciting. Okay, so that's the DeFi Hybrid 24. Let's look at the DeFi Hybrid 36. You can see that it's exactly the same figures, except the bank interest rate is better because you're borrowing the money over a longer period of time. And at the end of the period now, because it's running for an extra year, you walk away with $35,488. The DeFi Hybrid 60 because now you're borrowing a lot more money, but you're borrowing it at a much better interest rate, so you can make even more money. So you pay 5 years worth, 5 bank interest, 60 insurance payments, 60 handling fees, repay the bank loan, walk away with almost $500,000 in 5 years' time, and in 7 years, again you've got more money here, you've got a better interest rate, and you walk away with almost 1.5 million after 7 years. So that's how they work. If you want to slow that down, go back, watch the video again. Then I'm not going into this in too much detail, but we do have 2 DeFi hybrid packs. One is the 24 pack, so it runs for 24 months. And if you notice that, so the activation fee is 1,000, you get 15 contracts, and all of these figures are 15 times what it was for a single DeFi hybrid 24 contract. It's all exactly the same, but it's 15 times. Same awful bank interest rate, and 15 times the handling fee, 15 times the insurance, and at the end of this you walk away with, after 2 years, you walk away with 309,000. And similarly for the 36, it's 15 times everything that was the same with the DeFi hybrid 36. And at the end of it, you walk away with just over $500,000. Now, what I will say is these figures are slightly variable. This is our best guess. I've taken the worst case scenario in most cases, so it's probably going to be a little bit more than this. It's not likely to be less. If it is, I apologise, but it's still, it's not going to be far off. So, how do we know that this system is any good? We're relying on the bank, we're relying on the insurance company, we're relying on you to do what you say. But the first part is easy, because once you purchase this, there's nothing for you to do. You set up the contract on day 1, and you come back at the end of the period and take your money, and that's it. There's nothing for you to do, literally nothing for you to do. So since starting in 2018, so then we're going to talk about what's in it for the bank. Since starting in 2018, there's never been an instance where the bank did not get paid their annual interest every year on time. On the anniversary of the contract being taken out, they get their money. Because the smart contract does it, they don't have to rely on you saying, yes, I'll pay the bank interest now. The smart contract does it, and they get the money every year on time. And the bank did not get all of their funds back. So there's never been an instance where the bank did not get all of their funds back at the end of the contract in full and on time. However, if something did go wrong, then the loan capital and the interest outstanding is insured. So the insurance company would pay out for the bank loan, plus if there's any interest being accrued since the last bank interest. So for the bank, this setup is money for old rope, no risk and great profits with every single contract. And the bank wants to see more contracts like this because we're a cash cow to them. So what's in it for the insurance company? Well, the insurance company underwrites thousands of these loans every single day. And as soon as you set up a contract, the insurance company gets their first month's premium paid in full, and then they get their next month's premium paid in full every month throughout the contract, and it gets it in advance of the month that they're insuring, which is the same with all insurance policies. And with all of the millions of policies written over the years, not one of them has ever been required to pay out. Again, is money for old rope, great profit and low risk. And how many insurance companies would love to sell policies in these numbers without the associated cost of financial advisors and administrators, and with such low risk? I used to have a friend of mine was an insurance salesman, and he thought it would be a good month if he sold 20 or 30 insurance policies in 1 month. And these people are selling thousands of policies every single day. No financial advisors, no administrators. It's all done by the blockchain, and there's virtually no risk at all. So that's why the insurance companies are in it. So let's have a look at this thing called cross-platform strategizing. Imagine you're involved with another Wealth Warriors platform, say BitHarvest, and you want to buy more AI80 Pro Bit Boosters. They cost $1,500 each. If you're with Wealth Warriors, you know this. If you're not with Wealth Warriors and you're watching this video, don't worry about it. It's just a device that you buy, and it produces Bitcoin for you every single day. Now, if you deposit $1,500 into BitHarvest, at the end of 2 years, you could have, you take that profit every day, that Bitcoin every day, and you compound it, you could buy another 3 bit boosters in by the end of 2 years. So you've got a total of 4 bit boosters. However, if you took that $1,500 and staked it in Cryptex for 2 years, you'd receive 309,000 plus 5 lots of 20,000 is a total. So you can buy 1,000, the 1,000 package of 24, the 24 pack. That'll give you 309,000. Then the other 500 will buy you 5 individual contracts that give you 20,000 back. So you get a total of just over 400,000. And with $400,000, you could buy 266 AI Pro bit boosters. So is your $1,500 better to be put into Bit Harvest, or is it better to be put into Cryptex for 2 years? And I'm not saying don't buy boosters in Bit Harvest. I'm saying just look at where you can get the most boosters from. Imagine you're involved in another Wealth Warriors platform, say Veralio, and if you don't know what Veralio is, it's an AI trading bot that we've adopted. If you want to add $1,000 for your trading fund, you deposit $1,000 into Veralio, or into your exchange account, in fact, and if Veralio earns a compounded interest of 20% per month, which is the target, at the end of 2 years, you could have an additional $79,496 by compounding your profits. That assumes 20% per month, every month for 2 years. However, if you took that $1,000 and staked it in Cryptex for 2 years, you'd receive $309,000. And with $309,000, if you put that into your trading account with Veralio, you can expect to earn $61,800 per month, as opposed to $79,000 over 2 years. Next month, that $61,800 compounds to produce even more profits. So again, I'm not saying don't do Veralio. Do Veralio by all means. It's good to have diversity. Put some money in, secure your money by having diversification. But just understand that Cryptex is going to provide you with so much more money that you would then put into Veralio for added security, added income from diverse sources. And you say, well, why don't I just put all of my money into Cryptex if it's producing that much good returns? Well, one, we never do that. We don't want to put all of our money into one platform because we have no control over one platform. And the other thing is that there's a bottleneck on what you can earn with Cryptex. There's a limit. You can only have 80 contracts. You can only buy 80 contracts. Now, if you work that properly and you were buying the all 7-year contracts, so you had 80 different 7-year contracts, that would be a huge amount of money. But then the downside is you're going to wait 7 years for your money. If you put it all into 2-year contracts, then you limit your income to just under 2 million, which is, so it's about, you're at about 800,000 a year, or the equivalent of, if it's all in 2-year contracts. But we don't know if that's going to be sustainable, if Cryptex is sustainable. Let's assume it isn't, and put some money elsewhere where we know we're going to get a good return, like Bit Harvest, like Veralio, like Matrix Freedom, like E-Estate, and so on, and any other platforms we've got in Wealth Warriors. So you earn your money here, put your money there to continue earning more and more and more money for you. So what's the quickest strategy to upgrade your income as quickly as you can, and you don't want to use these other platforms, you just want to use Cryptex? So the fastest route to a large and growing income, the fastest way is to set up 2-year cycles with Cryptex. On day 1, you activate 1 DeFi Hybrid 24 costing $100. Day 731, you receive a payout of $21,000, or just over. Day 731 as well, you then set up, so basically you're going to max out your 80 contract limit. You set up 5 DeFi Hybrid 24 packs and 5 DeFi Hybrid 24 contracts. And the total for that is $5,500. You've then got about $16,000 to just go and spend on whatever you like. Put it into Veralio, put it into E-Estate, put it into Bit Harvest. On day 1462, which is 2 years, you receive, so that's a total of 4 years now, you receive a payout of $409,000, and rinse and repeat. That gives you an annual income of $200,000, just over, if that's what you do. Just continually do that every 2 years. Buy another 80 contracts, okay, and the money that you've got, you make that last 2 years. So you've got an annual income of $200,000. So I was wrong earlier when I said 80,000. It's 200,000. But that's your bottleneck if you're just going to do it with 2-year contracts. And so you probably want to do it, spread it out a little bit, have some 2-year, some 3-year, some 5-year, some 8-year, 7-year rather. So let's get into the team building side of Cryptex. This is entirely optional, does not affect your passive income. In its simplest terms, when you introduce other people to Cryptex and help them set up contracts, you receive a direct bonus from each contract they set up. This bonus is generated as part of the process of setting up the contract. When those people introduce people who then set up contracts, you receive another bonus as a result of those contracts, and this continues down 10 levels. The people in your first 10 levels are referred to as your direct bonus team. Most people only ever introduce 2 people, but you can introduce as many as you want. Some people introduce literally hundreds of others, and when you look at the earnings potential for your friends, it's easy to see why. 2 people introducing 2 people can have a huge impact on your potential earnings from direct bonuses. Okay, the industry average for this type of business is 2.3 people. Okay, we expect people to get in and bring lots and lots of their friends with them. On average, everybody brings in 2.3 people. So I'm just going to use an example where everybody brings in 2 people. So let's see what that looks like as a team structure. This is your level, and this is how many members you've got on each level. Okay, so you now have a total of 2,046 people in your direct bonus team. Let's see what percentages you get commission from those. So this is very interesting. When you introduce somebody on your front line, they buy a $100 contract, you get a $30 commission. Not from them, you get that from the company. So a lot of people like this because they get involved, and within minutes they're introducing their friends, and they're making great income just from the commission side. And if you want to introduce somebody to buy a contract for them, you pay $100 out of your wallet and send it to them, and they buy a contract. It's actually only cost you $70 because as soon as they buy that contract, you get 30 of those dollars straight back again. So you can buy somebody a $100 contract and it's only cost you $70. $70. So what's that in dollars? Here we go. We have on the total commission you would receive on level 1 if you've got 2 members and they each buy just 1 contract, you get $60. On level 2 you get 20, on level 3 you get 40, on level 4 you get 80, and so on. And all of a sudden, after you've gone down 10 levels, if everybody's just bought 1 contract and everybody's introduced 2 people, you've earned $6,344. And you think, well, I've seen other plans, other propositions where that's the money we get is much better than that. Yes, it is, but just consider this: the most you can spend on your contracts, if you're gonna max out your 80 contract rule, the most you can spend is 5,500. So just by building a team of people that goes down 10 levels, 2 people on each two people bring in 2 people, everybody buys just 1 contract, which I've never seen. Most people end up with literally 50, 60, 70 contracts. But just imagine everybody just gets 1 contract. That's paid for you to max out your contract allocation and earn hundreds of thousands of dollars just using your commissions, not using money out of your back pocket. Okay, so that's direct bonuses earnings. The next way of earning from team building is called end of contract commissions, and it's a very exciting element of Cryptex. I've never seen this before, and I've been around this type of industry since 1988, so it's coming up to about 37 years now. Those people in your first 20 levels are referred to as your end of contract commissions team. Every day when those contracts are in their daily profit, a little of that excess profit is passed to you, and you can watch it accumulate in your back office. So every day you can go into your back office and you see you see how much you're earning from your own staking, and you can see how much you're earning from the staking of all the people that you've helped get involved. And it's very, very exciting to see that figure grow. When that contract matures, so somebody's contract in your group, when that contract matures and pays out to the contract owner, your share of that profit is released into your account and you can withdraw it immediately. You don't have to withdraw it. You can internally transfer it to somebody else to help them get started, or you can use that money to set up more contracts if you still have the capacity, if you're not up to your 80 contract limit. So working on the example we used earlier where everyone introduced 2 people, this can have a huge impact on your potential earnings from end of contract commissions. As this commission is paid out on completed contracts, let's assume that each person in the entire team only sets up 1 contract at a time, and so they wait for that contract to expire and then they buy another contract. That's not going to happen. It never does. People just buy contracts as and when they want them. But we'll make that stipulation. But otherwise, the figures just get crazy, and you're not going to believe the figures I'm going to show you anyway. So let's not get even crazier. So let's see what that team structure looks like. Well, levels 1 to 10, you've got 2,047 people. All the way down to level 20, you've now got 2,097,150 people. That's just with each person introducing 2 people. So the commission, end of contract commission percentages goes from 8% from the people on your front line, 5%, 5%, 5%, 4%, 4%, 4%, 4%, all the way down to 1%, level 20 levels down. But you notice this is offset by the fact you have more people on level 20 than you do on level 1. So what's that in dollars? Let's just have a look at that in. But we'll just look at the first 10 levels. So the total of all of these first 10 levels, bear in mind this is 2 people introduce 2 people, everybody just buys 1 contract, they all expire on the same day, and so you would receive on that day 1.286 million, 1,286,000. That's just on the first 10 levels. I'm going to show you the 20 levels and then we're going to move on very quickly. But you can stop the video and have a look at it if you want to, because it just gets silly numbers. Okay, so the third way of earning from the optional team building aspect is through a leader bonus. And leader bonuses are paid out every single month without fail. You have to qualify for the leader bonus every month. However, because the contracts on which the bonus is based last a minimum of 2 years, when you qualify 1 month, you're likely to maintain that qualification for a very long time. Let's look at the qualifications that are required and the leader bonus rewards available to a leader. So you need 2 qualifications to get the first part of the bonus. First thing is you directly sponsor 100 members and they must each have at least 1 contract each. And between them and the people they introduce, you need a total volume of 100,000 in your entire team. So the 100 people on your front line are going to produce 10,000 volume if they only have 1 contract each. And bear in mind, many people have much more than that. So it's not hard to imagine that just within 2 or 3 levels, you're going to have that 100,000 volume. When that happens, you receive a one-off bonus of $5,000. Again, that's enough money to max out your 80 contracts if you haven't done so already. Or you could help 5 other people get started with a $1,000 pack, or you could help 50 people get started with a $100 contract. So on qualification 3, then you maintain the above qualifications and you achieve 100 new contracts each month from levels 1 and 2. And if you do that, then you receive 5% bonus on every new contract in your whole team down to infinity. That's a minimum of $5 for every new contract in your whole team, all the way down to infinity. If somebody buys a $1,000 pack, you receive $50. Sorry, you don't. You receive $75. So for every new contract in your whole team, down to infinity. So this little note here below the table. Earlier we saw that with each member recruiting 2 more members and each member only taking out 1 small contract. At 10 levels you'll have 2,000 members, and at 20 levels you'll have 2 million members. Imagine how many new contracts will be set up all the way down to infinity, and you're going to get $5 because of each new contract every single month. So I'm not going to dwell on that. So let's talk about cross-platform strategizing again. Within Wealth Warriors, we always have one eye on security of our community and security of your money. Because of this, we're keen to diversify, not to rely on any one platform, even one as good as Cryptex. We understand the first 2 years are going to be a scary proposition. What if something happens to Cryptex before you get your payout? That's a valid question. But so is, what if something doesn't happen to Cryptex and you get paid out in 2 years? The answer is you will absolutely regret not doing more. When I first saw this, I got involved and put $100 in, and it took me a whole year before I thought, actually, if this is this good, and I watched some videos, met some people, I regretted not doing more, so I put a few more $100 in. In fact, I used commissions to buy more contracts. So, yeah, so you will regret not doing more if it does work. If it doesn't work, then you've lost $100, $1,000, whatever you've put in. But all the evidence is that people are being paid out. People are being paid out at the end of their contract. So if it does pay out, then you're home and dry, because most of us just need to get across a certain barrier with our online businesses. We've never managed to make it to the point where we've got this excess funds, that if something happens to the platform where we created those excess funds, we've diversified and we've got money coming in from 3, 4, 5, 6 different places. Okay, we've just never got to that point. But if you do get to that point with Cryptex, then you're home and dry. You've risked $100 and made a huge difference to your life by reinvesting back into Cryptex and funding other Wealth Warrior platforms to add volume and security to your portfolio. We saw earlier how the profits generated from the passive income side can be used to bolster and feed your other Wealth Warrior promoted platforms. Imagine now that as well as all that income, you've just the minimum end of contract commissions outlined here. You saw the figures just now. It got silly money very quickly. So what would you do with that money? How could you diversify that money to make sure you have security of income for the rest of your life? You would have got over a watershed of making a permanent difference to your finances. If you do it properly, if you are intelligent, if you are wise, dare I say wise. So I'm going to talk now about protecting your wealth. So you have a large and growing portfolio of good solid businesses. You have more money and more assets than you know what to do with. Everyone will be full of good advice about what you should do with your money and your assets. Just be careful where you get your advice, because if you we used to tell a story about getting advice off of the friend that you go down the pub with every night, because what does he know about making money? He's in the same position you're in. So you're free to do whatever you want. Remember that a fool and his money are soon parted, but a wise man will find out how to protect his wealth, and one of the best ways is by creating a private trust. Private trusts are used by the world's financial elite to protect their assets, and you can be assured that all assets in a private trust are protected and untouchable. If there was anything better, the financial elite would be doing that instead. So one of the platforms used by Wealth Warriors is Matrix Freedom. Ask your Wealth Warriors upline for their Matrix Freedom referral link. Once you're a member, you can receive guidance on how to set up a private trust and to move the allodial title of all assets into the trust for complete protection for yourself and your beneficiaries. And just be aware that just because you paid for the car you drive doesn't mean you own it. Just because you paid for the house you live in doesn't mean you own it. If it's registered to a government department somewhere, then you don't own it, the government does. You are just the registered keeper or the registered occupant or whatever other terminology they use. You don't own it. It's not until you move the allodial title into your name, or in fact in this case into the private trust, that you've taken control of that asset away from the government and it's now under the control of your trust. Not you, your trust. So I put my referral link in the description below this video, my referral link for Cryptex. If I sent you the link to this video, please use the link to peruse my Cryptex landing page and to register with me in Cryptex. However, if you were sent this link to this video by someone other than me, do not use my link. Get the Cryptex landing page link of your Wealth Warriors upline and register with them. Once registered, you will also get a free Cryptex landing page. All done for you. So just a little advert for Wealth Warriors. Join Wealth Warriors. It's an online community. Our system ensures you don't ever lose all of your money to a scammer again, and you don't lose friends and family as you introduce them to your online businesses. We have very strict rules about maintaining lines of sponsorship, which is why I say don't use my link, use the link of the person who introduced you. We have a structured program to strategize our wealth production, not just within one platform, which is what you get from most business leaders, but cross-platform strategization. This maximizes your security, longevity of income, and personal and generational wealth. So consider joining Wealth Warriors. Come to a Zoom call on Sunday at 10 o'clock UK time. Get back to the person who sent you the link to this video for a link to the Zoom meeting. To contact with the presenter in this video, please connect on Telegram with @Andy10E6. And some of you will recognise that scientific notation for a million, so it's Andy a million. So that's it, cross-platform strategizing for financial abundance and fast growth with Wealth Warriors. Thank you for your attention. Hope you found it useful. Look forward to seeing you on one of our Zoom calls very soon. And I've been Andy Galloway, and see you on the next video.